This is the Audi Q7, and in some ways it's a bit like Balmoral. You see, rather than looking like a traditional SUV, it's more of a big, posh estate. Obviously being posh, you do have to pay for it, and it's quite expensive. If you click up there to go to carbuy.co.uk, you can see the very latest prices on the Audi Q7. You can also spec up your ideal car, any car for that matter, and dealers will come back to you with the best price they can do on it. Now, the great thing about the Q7 is just how much room you have in this middle row. The doors open really wide, so it's dead easy to get in, and the height is just about right. Also, the seats are quite half the ground, so you sit at a good angle. You don't feel like you're too low down. And check this out, look how much knee room I've got. And because this front seat is raised up, you can really stretch out. It's like you're in a limousine. Plus, you can recline the seats. I mean, look at that. This is a wonderful car to do distancing in this middle row. You can slide the seats forward as well. In fact, I'm going to leave this seat forward because I'm going to need it in a minute in that position. You can slide them all individually and push this one back because I want to show you this, the middle row. So this car is actually pretty good for carrying three in the middle row. Footwells are absolutely massive, so there's plenty of room for everyone's feet. You also have your own climate control buttons here for the back, which is nice. And if there's no one sitting in the middle, you can fold this down, and there's some cup holders there, and it all moves very sweetly. It's all very nicely made. Now I'm going to show you the back of this car because it is a 7-seater, and there's a reason I've put this chair there like that. Though I want you to notice this first. Look, I've still got plenty of room with the chair like this. Now to get into the very back, it's not the most elegant system, I'm afraid. Audi hasn't thought this one through quite so well. You have to fold this down, push this, lift this up, and then haul that out the way. It's actually on gas struts, so it's not too hard to lift once you've unlatched it. I'm going to get this one out of your way so you can see what I'm doing back here. Right, so I'm going to pull this chair back now. Right, let's get this one out of the way as well. Come on. No, wrong lever. And the door's just shut on me as well. So let me pull this one back. With the seat in its forward position, I do just about have enough knee room. Headroom, if I sit up straight, my head is touching. Really though, it is just for kids back here. A Land Rover Discovery does feel more spacious in the rearmost row. There's some cup holders here and here, but there doesn't seem to be any charging points for the people in the very back. You do have some in the middle row, and right there, ooh, yes, there's a charging point in the boot, so you could probably use that if you wanted to. Speaking of the boot, got to remember how to get out the back. Right, there we go, and then this. Right, I'll just let that go up under its own accord. I'll just put these seats back up because I can then show you the boot in its various stages and configurations, can't I? There we go, and I'll just jump out. Hopefully I'm not going to fall out backwards and smash my head open. No, did it gracefully, well done me. Right, let's get that one back up as well. And slide it back, there we go. Right, finally I can show you the boot at last. Now the actual capacity with all 7 seats in place is about the same as you'd have on a Volkswagen Polo. It's a little bit less than a Volvo XC90 has with all its seats in place, but still it's okay. Let's see what's under here though. Nothing really, nothing, you can't do much with that. Oh well, there are a few tethering points and some netting there. Oh, and there's a 12-volt socket as well. Now if you want to fold the seats down, you do it electrically, and it's standard on all models. It's not the fastest system in the world. You have to be a bit patient, but there you go. Once you've done that, you've got a nice flat load area. There's no load lip either to lift stuff over. Then if you want to fold down the other row, you have to go all the way back round again and do it by hand. Come on, there we go. We'll get there in the end. Finally, done it. There we go, look. Loads of space. Then you've got a nice flat continuous load floor, and that makes it easy to load heavy items in and slide them to the front. In fact, if you want to see just how much stuff you can cram into this car's boot, click up there to watch my detailed practicality video. You'll also be able to see how easy it is to fit a child seat in the Q7 and what it's like with 3 people in the middle row. Let's move on to the front though, because I'm really impressed with the interior quality in this Q7. I mean, it's absolutely blooming lovely. This is a nice car to sit in. I mean, yeah, it's just so solid. The materials are plush and luxurious. And I like this thing here. They've got this big central air vent, which rather than blasting you with air, you press a button down here and it lets out soft diffuse air, which Audi likes to call air shower. In fact, all the controls here are just dead simple, easy to use. It's a really well thought out car. There's some decent practicality, so the door bins are huge. Look, they can hold a 1.5 litre bottle. However, the glove box is only all right sized. And there's not much space under here actually, though this car does have charging from a mobile phone. Not this mobile phone, it's too old. And there's some USB inputs there as well. Actually, equipment levels are pretty good right across the range. So all cars get all-round parking sensors. You get leather interior. The front seats are heated and they're electrically operated. You get DAB digital radio. There's auto emergency braking, which can spot pedestrians. And you also get a 10 gigabyte hard drive for your music. This is the S line, so it has some sporty bits of trim on the outside, some 20-inch alloy wheels. You get LED headlamps. There's also these sports seats as well, which are nice and grippy. But regardless of which car you go for, they all get this glorious 8-inch screen. Now the infotainment system is very, very easy to use to scroll through the different menus. You get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You can get the internet with it as well, and you can use your car as a Wi-Fi hotspot if you want, or you can do it the other way around. You can bounce the signal from your mobile phone into the car, and then on the mapping, you can use Google Maps, and it just looks glorious. Speaking of looking glorious, Audi's virtual cockpit. It is an optional extra, but it's well worth having. So you get a fully digital driver's display. You can scroll through the different menus, and the best bit is the satellite navigation there. It's super widescreen. It just looks great, and it's dead easy to use when you're driving. Now, if you click up there, you can see my full in-depth video review of this car's infotainment system. And it's quite a long video because there's plenty to talk about.
Right then, let's hit the road to find out what the Audi Q7 is like to drive.
This Audi Q7 is an absolutely blooming lovely car to drive. It's just so relaxing. There's hardly any noise regardless of what speed you're going at, and the standard suspension does a great job of dealing with the bumps. But why just put up with merely a great job when for £2,000 extra you can get the optional air suspension, and then it deals with bumps brilliantly. In fact, it's as though the car has given you an epidural, because you quite literally can't feel anything through the seat. Really, if you take one thing away from this video, just one thing, it's get the optional air suspension. Also, it means that at the press of a button, you can firm up the suspension, and then this big car goes around corners surprisingly well. It's really quite amazing, actually. It's not quite as overtly sporty as a Porsche Cayenne, but I think it's a better all-round package, and it's quick as well. So the 3-litre V6 diesel is so smooth, it's silky, it's quiet, and with this 272 horsepower version, it flies. It really does fly. This car's supposed to do 48 miles per gallon, and I'm getting 34. That's not bad. But if you want even more performance, there's an SQ7, which is almost supercar quick, or if you want more economy, there's a hybrid too. What's not to like? And then there's the 8-speed automatic gearbox, which is fast, responsive, and also very smooth. If there is one small problem with the Q7, it's perhaps the fact you don't seem to sit quite so high as you do in some other SUVs, such as a Land Rover Discovery, which is actually a better car if you want to do a lot of off-roading. If you don't, well, this Q7 has more than enough grip from its all-wheel drive system. And it's still high enough, you know, you get a good view out, and it's actually, for an SUV, quite easy to tell where the corners of the car are, and I think it's probably one of the easiest 4x4s to pilot round town. As well, the visibility is very good all round, and you can see for yourself by clicking up there to watch my 360-degree passenger ride video.
Now then, it's time for the Car Wow 5 annoying things about the Audi Q7.
Heated and folding door mirrors are a £200 option, even though this car costs 50 grand. When you have all 7 seats in place, there's nowhere really to store the parcel shelf. I think I'll just kind of leave it rolling around in there. If you want the hybrid version, you can forget about carrying 7 people, because it doesn't come with a 3rd row of seats. Also, the boot's a bit smaller. You can blame the batteries for that. They take up quite a bit of space. The rear windows may well be massive. It's just a shame they don't go all the way down, so it's not very comfy to lean the arm out of the window. This touchpad is reasonably easy to use if you're left-handed. Not so much if you're one of the 90% of people who aren't.
Thankfully, it's not all bad. Here are the Car Wow 5 cool features about the Audi Q7.
This new Audi Q7 is up to 325 kilos lighter than the old Audi Q7, which is about the same weight as 5 Car Wow cameramen. The exit warning system will prevent you from opening your door on an approaching pedestrian or cyclist. Unfortunately, this particular car doesn't have that option. With the optional air suspension, you can raise the car's ride height for going off-road, or lower it to make it easier for your doggy to jump into the back. There's Isofix fittings on every single passenger seat, even these in the very back row. Now if you click up there, you can go to carwow.co.uk for more information and to compare offers on the Audi Q7 or any car for that matter. So then what's my verdict on it? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should just go right ahead and buy the Audi Q7 if you can afford it. It's one of the very best cars on sale today. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it, and click up there to subscribe to our channel. Click up there to watch my detailed practicality video review of the Q7, down there for the detailed infotainment video, and down there for my 360-degree passenger ride video. Now, did you spot the Easter egg in the video? It was the band Q7 playing on the car's stereo.